I hate the ones that say it'll be like, excuse the typos sent from my iPhone, as if you can't spell and type properly on an iPhone. Like, oh, I was limited.
Yeah.
Only had half the QWERTY.
Half the QWERTY. Hey, man. I'm hobbled out here. Welcome back to The Hardpoint, episode number 12, Big 1-2. My name is Josh. I go by Onexpunchxdad online.
My name's Cody. I go by Cody Roams.
And this is the last episode that I ever plan on recording in this fucking hotel room by myself. There's a bleep for you right up front.
Make like
Sorry.
a yearly visit back to that hotel just to kind of remember your stay, or
No. Let me tell you, man, if you've ever done like an extended stay in a hotel, I can tell you, I knew it at the beginning. I think I said it on my first episode here. I'm saying it on my last episode here. It stinks. I'm tired of this hotel. I'm tired of this tiny room. The allure, the magic of opening the door and being in my own little space is worn off. I want to go back to my space, my home, not the website, my house. MySpace.
Go back to MySpace. All right.
Let's go back to the MySpace days. Top 8. Get in that top 8. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. So this is your last week there. You get to return to your home and to your family next week. I just want to give you a nice round of applause. I heard somebody passed their test.
I did.
Was it
I
you?
did my public speaking thingy. Public speaking thingy. Knocked that out. It feels good. I guess a lot has happened.
Didn't lock your knees?
I didn't lock my knees. No, I kind of just barreled through it. I forgot that I have it's been over a week. This may be the first episode we recorded where more than a week has passed since we recorded. So actually, it seems like quite a bit more has happened than normally does. But yeah, I did that. I am Joint Interface Control Officer certified or qualified.
All
excuse me, not certified.
Is that JICO?
JICO, yeah.
All right.
So feels good. Feels good to know what my
JICO.
Boom shakalaka.
That's got to feel good, man. I know that was you said you're cramming a lot of homework, really pushing the boundaries on this one.
I really pushed it. It feels good to know that the parts of my brain that I need for serious stuff are still functional.
Sure.
It was.
What'd you pass with?
Honestly,
we're talking a C. We're talking a B, A+.
Well, so they don't do letter grades, but I think my point deductions were pretty low. I like it today. I feel like I actually kind of crushed it. Didn't bowl a perfect game or anything, but feel pretty good about the points that I did give back to him. Were little stuff that honestly I was okay with eating it a little bit. But yeah, feel overall like I did well.
Hell yeah! Now you can go back to work strutting their JICO certified.
That's right.
JICO
That's right. I'm gonna put it in my signature block on my email so that everyone knows. Do you have a signature block for your job?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Does it just like Cody Martin?
It says
this is what
so.
I do.
It's the
Here's how to reach me.
It's our little our little company logo, and then a nice line divider. Cody Martin, sales, design. And then it has like cell phone, email, and then website. And then I think address of our store location, something like that.
Your brick and mortar.
Yeah. It looks nice. It looks official. I feel like if you're talking biz over the email, like you got to have some sort of signature for sure. It's better than sent from my iPhone. Every time I see sent from my iPhone, I'm like, this person's not serious.
I'm not doing business with this person. No. Get a real job. Are you kidding me? Or even worse, like sent from my Android. That's just like block that number. Block that email.
I hate the ones that say it'll be like excuse the typos sent from my iPhone, as if you can't spell and type properly on an iPhone. Like, oh, I was limited. Yeah. Only had half the QWERTY.
Half the QWERTY. Hey man, I'm hobbled out here. I'm working with what I got. I don't have my QWERTY. I need my ASDF. I need my home row.
Never go full QWERTY on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you never go full QWERTY. Yeah, man, it feels good to know I'll be home soon. I haven't not enjoyed my time in the Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, Fort Liberty area. But yeah, it's just it's time to go home. I really, not to mention like cutting these episodes on the road is consistently challenging. It is hard to tap into that feeling of what we normally like to how we like to feel when we're recording an episode. Yeah. So
I think there's something too also, like you and I each are lucky enough to kind of have our own space at each of our houses, our own little office, our own little getaway corner of the house. And there's something to kind of, I don't know, for the lack of a better term, making it a vibe, making it feel good in here, getting the lighting just right, jamming out, kind of being in your space when we do something like this. I think when you're just like in a cold, stale hotel room, it can be a little hard to, I imagine it could be a little harder than, you know, when you're like in your domain.
It is like everything's brown. Like I can take my camera here and I've got this nice hotel art here. That's kind of, you can't really see it, but it's, you know, it adds a little spice to the environment.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, it's just I feel more comfortable at home in my office where we normally do this. I feel most comfortable when we're able to do it in person, which is exciting because I'll be back and we'll be able to cut a lot more in-person episodes in the next few weeks, which is cool. So
that's going to feel like such a treat.
A breeze, man. It's going to be a breeze.
It's going to feel like a treat. Before we get too far, this is the Tom Brady episode. Can't skip that.
Oh, okay. Wow. All right.
Can't skip that.
Tom Brady.
The world famous Tom Brady. You've heard of him.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm familiar.
And last episode, I said, this is like the first time I've talked to you since the last episode. And that was kind of like, I was joking. We had talked a few times that week. Not a lot. I think this is almost literally the first time we've talked since the last episode. So we're setting a new precedent here for rolling in cold, shoot from the hip. Like this is the ultimate test of, can we come in without having talked for a week? Maybe I shouldn't be peeling this far back. We haven't talked for a week. We haven't really planned anything.
Yeah.
Can we capture some magic? Can we be entertaining?
I'm having a good time already, man. I will say, like, the course obviously has been a thing. But yeah, man, like, I just, like, it has been such a singular focus for me. Like, I have left a lot of people on red in the last couple weeks just trying to get this course knocked out. But I'm glad we continue to do it, man. I really feel like the old me would have been like, hey, man, let's just take a knee for a week. But fuck that. I'm glad we're doing this. It feels good. Like I said, it's always a nice little vacation from the tedium of being in here. And now that I'm done with the course, this is almost like a little celebration party for me. So hell yeah.
Well, I appreciate you finding the time, man. I know everybody listening does too, but been really busy, had a lot going on, and it probably would have been easier to say, hey, let's just take a knee, like you said, take a knee for a week. It would have been easier to do that. So we're here for the
fuck your knees. We're here for the people. We don't need to take no knees. So I want to talk about something real quick up at the top that I thought was really funny. And it's really pertinent to something that you and I both enjoy. And I don't know if you've seen it, and I don't know if you have the ability to Google stuff if you haven't seen it. But I was kind of scrolling around. So we both love the movie Dune. Dune 1 was great. I loved it. It's one of my favorite movies I've seen in a theater probably since Endgame. It's probably up there in the number 2 spot, honestly, as far as cinematic experiences. You saw it on a plane a couple, maybe a year or so after it came out. Really enjoyed it. Yeah. Both really hyped. I was
late to the party.
Dune. Yeah, it's late to the party, but still, like you texted me when you saw it, and you were like, "Dude."
My eyes have been opened.
Yes. It's a really good ass movie, and even if I'd read the book a little bit before the movie came out, so I was kind of like familiar with the story. But even if I hadn't been, I was just so mystified by the look of the movie. I don't think you haven't read Dune, right?
No, I have not.
Okay, still enjoyed it. So there it is. You can still enjoy this movie. Anyway, Dune's great. See Dune. Dune 2 is about to come out. It was actually supposed to have been out already. It's supposed to come out in November, but because of the writer's strike, they delayed it almost 6 months. Good grief. But thank goodness, March 1st, Dune 2 is coming out. I'm hyped for that. I know you are. Might even see if we can see that together. That'd be an event. But
that'd be cool. Maybe we can do a live show from within the theater.
Yeah, camera pointed at the screen. And then promptly have our account taken down. I was laughing because I was scrolling around, and so normally, if there's a big popcorn blockbuster movie that comes out, they normally do some promotions with the theaters with popcorn buckets and maybe some merchandise, maybe like a silly lid on the cup. And I gotta say, I love Dune, and I'm fully supportive of the studio that made it. But have you seen the Dune popcorn buckets? I want you to look up.
Did I Google it?
Dune 2 popcorn bucket. Look at this abomination.
All I had to type in was Dune P, and popcorn bucket popped up.
Dude, look at this bullshit.
Oh, is it the big worm on top?
Yes. The Dune. Okay, this is a real. We're going to have to put a graphic up or something because you just got to see this. It is a real.
I'll put it up right now.
Promotional graphic that the Dune 2 movie is doing with, I don't know, AMC or whatever theater that it's working with.
Do you have to reach through that thing?
It is literally, for the audio-only listeners, it's imagine a regular popcorn bucket, and then you have what looks like a sandworm fleshlight affixed to the lid, and you have to reach down into the orifice to get your popcorn. And not to mention, it's got the teeth, right? The teeth of Shai Hulud. You have to reach through, grab popcorn, which is a loose snack. Those teeth are going to be knocking the popcorn out of your mouth. It's going to get everywhere.
Oh, dude. Some people are going to be doing some weird things to this thing after the movie. I'll tell you that already.
Cody, a boardroom full of studio executives or movie theater executives. A bunch of suits, cigars in their mouth and everything. They sat that on a table and said, yup, ship it. Get it out there.
Ship it. That didn't disappoint. That is hilarious just to look at. Yeah. And then the thought of actually eating your popcorn out of that thing.
It looks like a cumbersome, miserable experience.
I wonder how big, it's hard to get an idea of the scale of this thing through the picture.
A large popcorn bucket. I don't know how big this
orifice is. Is that fist size? What are we talking about?
He did the fist. You got to punch through it to get your popcorn.
Well, I feel like you'd have to go in and really, secure the popcorn as you're extracting I feel like this from the orifice.
In my mind, this is the move. You must close the fist, right? You can't go in there like this. You're just gonna
no.
You're gonna smack it against the side. You got to close the fist, punch through the membrane, the labia majora, if you will, and then open the hand. Grab your popcorn like you're a claw machine trying to get a stuffed bear, and then grip it really tight because as you pull it out past the weird rubber teeth, it's gonna be knocking that shit out of your hand.
The one upside to this, and it depends on how that top is fixed to the bucket itself. This looks semi-spill proof. It looks semi-spill proof. It might have a little protection there.
A million other ways to get after that. A million other ways. Literally just a regular lid if we're worried about popcorn spills. That is easily a $30 3D print on top of that popcorn bucket.
So if we go see this together, are we getting one of these and sharing?
I feel like we kind of have to. Here's what I think. The odds, let's say they print several 100,000 million of those. The odds that someone doesn't take theirs home and fuck it is not zero.
Dude, that's why I said people are going to be doing some weird things with this after the movie.
I'm saying. I am the Kwisatz Haderach.
Oh, okay. We got to get one of these. And then eventually when we have our Hardpoint headquarters, this can be up on the wall.
It's going on the wall, yeah. The Dune.
And we'll have it waist height and waist height and pointed out.
You should take it, since you're having a baby, put it on top of your diaper bin, and you put the diaper in there, and the teeth will like conceal it in.
That's a good idea.
A lot of functions for that.
The diaper dispenser. Okay, this is wild. I'm glad you brought that to my attention.
Yeah, everyone needs to know how
fucking
crazy that is.
People are just roasting it online. There's a picture of one, and it has the big, like, red censored rectangle over it.
It looks, dude, okay. Sandworms in the movie look great. The Dune 2021 and the new one movies, the sandworms look great. They really nailed the scale of how big these things are supposed to be in those movies. This is not a representation of that. This is not any kind of like miniaturization of that. It looks like weird sex stuff.
Speaking of this movie, it looks fantastic.
It does. Oh, I'm amped. I am amped.
And I'm gonna be a little bit of a man. Like, we got to go to the right theater for this one, not just any theater. Like, we got to go to like I don't know, like a good one, a big one.
Yeah,
like not just a regular one.
This is so. I don't go to many movies anymore, so the odds that I'm gonna go to like a one-off, like, I hate to say it, but like a movie that's not a blockbuster event like this, like not a Top Gun or not a Dune, it's pretty low anyway. So that does kind of free up. If I am going to the movie theater, I'm going to the reclining seats. I'm going to get the popcorn. I'm going to get the icy that's going to make my shit turn green. I'm going to have a full-blown Josh at the theater experience each time.
When the time comes, I think I'm going to try, not that I would totally drive to you. I think I'm going to try and convince you to come my way, because there's a theater. It's called Galaxy Theater, and they have in that theater what's called the Sony DC. And it's like a double 4K laser projector. It's one of two in the entire country. And the sound system in there is like second to none. The seats recline. It is the ultimate movie theater. And there's like two in the entire country, and one is 20 minutes up the road from me.
Hell yeah. That's where we'll go see it then. I want that. I like watching, I don't know. I like watching movies in a place where it seems like they've put a lot of care into the sound and the just the environment of the theater itself. I remember being a kid and going to the movie theater all of the time, and just how enormous and like crazy it felt to be in a movie theater. And now that I'm an adult, I kind of see that it's like going to a Chuck E. Cheese. You go to a Chuck E. Cheese now, and you're like, oh, this place is kind of gross. And none of the people working here care about it.
No, they really don't. I mean, like, Cinemark has their XD, which is kind of like the big boy. But this one, I saw one of the Tom Holland Spider-Mans. I don't remember which one, in this theater. And I've been to a million movies, just like anybody else. That's not a brag. It blew my mind.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. Like, the picture, the sound, like, it was unlike anything I've ever seen in a theater.
Well, done deal, man. We got to see Dune there.
I'll try not to hype it up too much.
I will say, like it's if it's a movie like that, then yeah, like, I'm gonna pay for that experience. I gotta say, I know they shot like Oppenheimer, prime example, and I know I poop on this movie a lot. They shot it with like IMAX cameras. They made it seem like it was going to be this like big like cinematic achievement. It's not a bad movie, but that's a really boring movie to watch on a giant screen. It's a lot of talking.
Yeah.
The moments that I think a lot of conversation, the moments that really are served by the IMAX cameras and the IMAX screen are so brief that it's honestly like, I would rather watch the 2 hours around that on a regular TV, go to the theater, watch the cool hour, and then go back to my television.
I agree. I don't even know. Have you ever gone down the wormhole of like different types of movie theaters and IMAX versus D-Box versus the whatever the fuck, the XD versus like...
I'm like vaguely familiar with them. I remember when I was living in Korea, they had what was called a 4D theater, And I went and saw Pacific Rim, which is the giant robots fighting monsters movie that came out over 10 years ago now. It's been a long time. So that was on a big like IMAX size screen, and the seats did like the thing where they like jostle you to the left, right, up and down as the movie's going. And that was probably like the best movie to see them with, because it's a lot of like the robots are like making these kind of like big movements, and like people are
like be standing in the ocean and it was like to his knee, right? Like they were that big.
Yeah, exactly. Like that was a really good like unique theater experience I had. But like the town I live in has a movie theater. It's a local movie theater that's honestly, I hate to say it, but not in the best state of care, we'll say. So if I want to see a movie just kind of like on the fly, that's really all that's available to me. But yeah, if I'm able, I love going to a nice fancy theater, reclining seats. Hopefully I feel like every movie theater I go to lately has like a blown subwoofer or a blown speaker, so the sound's like kind of shit. But yeah, I like to be pampered at the theater for sure.
The sound is just important to me as like the visual. Like proper
is.
sound can really elevate the experience.
Yeah, I think so. Like especially if it is like, an action movie has so much like bass and there's like prime. I mean, it's not a theater, but my television in my hotel room suffers from the quiets are too quiet, the louds are too louds situation. That in a theater is inexcusable in my opinion. Like when they're having like just kind of low tone conversations where they're, not really raising their voice, and then a fucking police chase drives by outside and it blows your fucking eardrums. You got to normalize that. You got to balance it out, baby. You can't have that shit.
Did you, since we're kind of on the topic of just like entertainment stuff, and you've been very busy, so maybe not, did you get to watch True Detective episode 2?
I did. I watched episode 2 and 3, actually. I'm probably more caught up than you.
Okay, you watched it. You're a little more ahead than me. I thought about watching episode 3 so we could actually get like 2 and 3 in this episode, come out Wednesday, and it would be caught up for once. I did not, so good. I came in here questioning whether you watched 2 at all. You watched 2 and 3, so shame on me. Anyways, I watched the game last night.
I did. I'm committed to this. We're a little bit in arrears, so it is good though, because I feel like a lot of people are not watching it as it comes out. So we're gonna discuss episode 2 of True Detective. If you're wanting to leap ahead, I'm sure there's some podcast out there that's all caught up. But yeah, episode 2 was pretty crazy, man, from the jump.
You're going to have to try and separate 2 and 3. It might be kind of tough just remembering what's what. But what was up with the dude coming to life? Like before the little intro.
That was extremely, extremely, extremely unsettling. So the end of episode 1, they find all these scientists, these researchers who are out in the ice, right? And then this dude, as they're out there like establishing their crime scene or whatever, just starts screaming this most like guttural, upsetting scream, because he's coming to, he's like half frozen, half alive. It is truly terrifying.
And then it cuts to the intro, and then you think it's going to come right back to it, and it kind of doesn't address it or acknowledge it for the rest of the episode.
It doesn't in episode 2.
Oh, spoiler.
I'm into it, man. There are a lot of I am starting to find myself kind of like, okay, I think there's a lot of mentions of characters in this show who are not on screen a lot, and so it is kind of hard to follow who's who. Sure. There are a lot of young girls and women, obviously, that are being talked about. Some are dead, some are troubled. And it's kind of hard to keep track of who all of these people are as the episode progresses. Did you find that to be true, or are you pretty well like aware of who's who?
No, I am a this is true in real life for me. I'm a face guy, not a name guy. Like if I've ever seen your face, I will remember it, but I will forget your name 30 seconds after you tell me. So shows that are very heavy on mentioning, like you said, characters that are not currently on screen, with names that aren't that common, perhaps, I have a really, really, really hard time following. And my dad even he watched episode 3. He texted me last night and he was like, it was good. I might have been tired, but he was like, I was kind of having trouble keeping up with it, I guess, a little bit. And he's like, he said he watched a recap and, kind of all made sense. But I was having a little bit of trouble following. I'm not lost or anything, but maybe some like the deeper cut storylines and nuances I don't totally get.
Sure, yeah. I will say one of the things I found really bizarre but also crazy is that it's a small Alaskan town, right? So they're looking for a place to. So Jodie Foster's character, who is a detective or Chief Danvers or whatever, is she wants this case, right? Her boss is telling her, you can't keep these bodies. We're sending them to Anchorage. And she stops him short. She cites some regulations. She's like, we have to keep him here. It's the rule.
Right, yeah.
And so he's like, okay, where are you going to put all these frozen dead bodies? She goes to a hockey game, an active youth hockey game, and talks to, I guess, the lady who owns the ice rink or whatever, and is like, hey, I need to put these bodies somewhere cold. And strangely, the lady does not really argue with her. The lady's like, yeah, it kind of makes sense you would bring him here, honestly.
That was kind of weird. It's been a week since I watched it. Did she say something about she owed her or something? I feel like there was a reason why.
I think so. The lady that owns the ice rink clearly does not like Jodie Foster's character. Very odd kind of interaction between them two. But anyway, they do end up dragging on like a flatbed trailer. They just dig these dudes in one giant hunk. I think at one point they actually refer to it as the corpsicle. They put it on a flatbed trailer, throw a tarp over it, and literally drive it through town with people watching, and then just stash it on the ice at this hockey rink. So a lot of this episode,
scene when they were driving it through town, and everyone's just kind of looking at it.
Yeah, because everyone knows what it is, man. It's super crazy. In a small town like that, everyone absolutely knows. I'm interested. There's a lot more, starting to get a sense that there's a lot more mysticism and maybe some ghost shit, I think we referred to maybe after the first episode, but there's definitely some, not outright magic or anything supernatural going on, but there is a lot of dreams manifesting as actual hallucinations and stuff. Which is fine. I think that's cool. I think artistically it looks great. We talked about some of the shots in this movie, how they capture night and don't make it just black. Really interesting.
Yeah.
So,
the scene where it's Jodie Foster and then the kid that works for her or whatever. The other what is he? I don't know how to refer to him.
I think he's one of her deputies or something. The young guy.
Yeah. So that scene where, and I know it's all scripted, but if you can just kind of sit back and imagine this unfolding for real. They're on those bleachers in that ice rink, and they're asking.
I know what you're talking
questions. She's like, you're asking the wrong question, or keep asking.
Yes.
And you find them just kind of, I don't know, just make their way through this mystery, and they don't figure it out, but they. Just by asking questions and critical thinking and bouncing stuff off each other, they end up at a different place. And I thought that whole scene was just really intriguing and kind of cool to watch unfold.
I thought that exact same thing during that scene. It's funny you mentioned that, man. I actually did think also about, I was like, okay, you can clearly tell these are line readings. This is, I can feel this kind of coming from the script. It's not improv or anything. But it is masterfully acted, honestly. But between the both of them, Jodie Foster obviously is very, she's been acting for a long time. But between her and this kid, it is a really cool detective scene. It's just a really kick-ass, solving the case type of scene. They're looking at all these pictures. They're trying to figure out what happened to all these scientists because they've, for anyone who hasn't watched the show up to this point, I guess we kind of spoiled it up to now, but. All these bodies are found naked on the ice, and they're not hunched over, freezing. Anytime you've seen someone who's died of freezing to death, they're not, they look calm or even asleep.
Right.
These dudes are jaws wide open, terrified. Every one of them is terrified looking. like they got attacked by something. Some of them have like self-inflicted bite wounds, all kinds of crazy shit. So they're trying to figure out how the fuck these guys got there. And that is a really great scene that kind of like, it asks questions that we are asking without knowing that we're curious about it.
Yeah.
And the one that they kind of resolve on is the I think he asks like, why were they naked? And she says, ask again. He said, what would make you so scared that you'd run outside without your boots on? And that was really like a, oh shit moment. Like,
kind of like a light bulb,
well
like it just clicked, you know? And I feel like we were along the ride with them. You know, we can feel like their kind of mental journey, asking these things and coming to conclusions, and then dead end, and okay, let's try a different way. And I don't know, I was like right there along with them. I thought it was really cool. What about
absolutely
the old person S scene?
I
thought that was
man,
weird.
oh man, you know, you gotta love that. You know, people have needs at all ages, really.
Sure.
No, you know, it's one of those things. Like, I feel like every like gritty detective movie has to have some kind of like begrudged like sexual, like strictly sexual relationship between two of the cops for whatever reason, and like it didn't surprise me, honestly. It was, I mean, you get an eyeful a little bit. You get to hear, you know, Jodie Foster, you know, going after it or whatever. It's one of those things that I would say is not like pivotal to the plot. So it's kind of like, you do get to kind of see like the relationship she has with her supervisor that kind of suggests that, you know, and overall you see this throughout the show with her character, but Jodie Foster's character, who is this, you know, Chief Danvers character, is really willing to either manipulate or just be a bitch to anybody she needs to be a bitch to in order to get what she wants. So she can be very cunning and very kind of like, she's mentoring this young man on the bleachers, trying to get him to the answer to this case. And in another scene, she is, you know, being terrible to her daughter, or, you know, writing someone off who needs her help. Or just being outright like racist or something crazy. So it's a good dichotomy of like, she's a good person, but also like she's kind of a piece of shit, I guess.
I thought it was interesting that they had a relationship, because before that it just showed that him coming in and like trying to get her off that case, like it looked like they were more like kind of butting heads type of relationship, and then you find out that they actually have a history, and you're like, oh,
they're bumping heads.
Go figure.
You know what I mean?
How did I don't remember, how did that episode leave off? Do you remember where it left us?
I remember it kind of cut away. I think it was the other detective, the one with the cheek piercings. I can't remember her name in the show. Navarro, detective. Yeah, Trooper Navarro. That's who it is. But she goes somewhere. I can't even remember, man. This is that part I think your dad was talking about, where it's kind of like, I was kind of like, interest is waning.
Right.
But I remember the episode ended with like a man screaming. Am I remembering that right? I can't remember if it was. I don't know. Do you remember?
Maybe so. No, I don't. That's I have bad memory. I do remember getting close, because there's one of those guys, one of the guys that was in the research lab that's not with all the other ones that are frozen, and he's the one that had like the swirly thing tattooed on his chest. And I think he's the one that had bought that trailer from that guy's cousin, and they went there and it had all that weird shit on the inside of it. Remember that, like the camper?
Everything we're talking about right now in this moment, and the fact that neither of us can really like recall the last, we'll say 10 minutes of the episode, I think this does point to some of the tedium around the really interesting parts of the show. There is a lot of really cool, really just like terrifying and eye-catching sequences in the show. There's also a lot of parts where people are just talking about things or people that aren't on screen. Yeah. And I have a feeling once the show has completed and you're able to see what all that was, and you can go back and be like, oh, well, they were talking about this guy who ended up being this guy, it will matter more to me. And that is, I know you're liking the weekly episodic release. I'm with you. But I will say that is an advantage of the ability to just go start to finish on like Netflix or whatever HBO, is being able to have it fresh in your mind. Yeah, like, hey, we're going to crush 2, maybe 3 episodes tonight. And that stuff all kind of has a through line. Whereas this one, it's like week to week is definitely like, you're like, what happened? Who is this guy again? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
and leave it up to the networks for like the shittiest recaps that don't tell you anything. Like, I don't feel any more informed after I watched that thing. I'll say after the first episode, I was really hyped. And I thought it was really good. I just couldn't wait for the next one. I would give that first one like, I don't know, like an 8.5. I really liked it.
Sure.
The second one, I didn't not like, but it didn't grab me like the first episode did. So I'm kind of curious to see the third one, which based off your review and my dad's, it's kind of more of the same on the second one. It's good, but there's also just kind of some, I don't know, confusing moments, and I don't know.
It is, and I feel like they're trying to bridge. Obviously, the scene setting of the first episode is really fun. I feel like these episode 2, and I will say episode 3 in a little bit of a way, are bridging that to what I hope is going to be a really intense second half of this season.
Sure.
So again, it's not that I'm disinterested, but there's just a lot that bleeds together and is really hard to track because of how it's presented. Yeah. So it will be interesting to see how much of that little tiny stuff that we're kind of losing track of pays off by the end of the show, and which of it was like, oh, that didn't really matter.
Right. Well, I'm excited. It's good. I want to watch it like when it comes out, but this is what happens when I watch it too far away from us recording. Can't remember shit.
Yeah, and I actually had the good luck. You know, they've got cable in here, so I just put it on HBO, and I was like, oh, yeah, True Detective. Here we go. I'll get it crammed in.
Hell yeah! Did you watch any of the games?
You know, I didn't actually watch the games. I was cramming homework. I watched Kindergarten Cop and did my got my briefing ready. I kind of tracked him on Google a little bit. I will say, kind of crazy that the Kansas City Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl. I see that look on your face.
Anybody but the Chiefs, dude. I cannot stand them. Can't stand them. And they weren't supposed to win that game. Like, Baltimore shit the bed.
Yeah. From what I hear, Baltimore kind of like had a lot of. I think the recap I watched today said missed opportunities. It's just like
everything was set up perfectly for them. Yeah.
Like literally, they tried to hand them the game, and Baltimore said nah. Which is, I guess, unfortunate.
Do you like you live there, right? Or do you have some affiliation sort of
to Kansas City,
or just Kansas in general? Didn't you live there at one point?
Yeah, my first duty station was at Fort Riley, Kansas, which is about an hour and a half away from Kansas City.
If you can tell how unconfidently I said that, I wasn't sure at all for some reason.
Well, it was a lot. I mean, God, it was 12, 13 years ago. I mean, it's been a minute since I've even been near or in Kansas for that matter.
Do you like the Chiefs, or are you like indifferent?
I'd say I would pull for them. Yeah, I think it's great. I think, Patrick Mahomes is he's been AFC Championship like 6 times. He's been, pretty much every year at least been to the AFC Championship since he's been the quarterback for the Chiefs. I mean, that's impressive, you know what I mean? And then, back-to-back Super Bowls. I will say the conspiracy theories that tie Taylor Swift's relationship to their what's his name? Kelce?
Travis Kelce, yeah.
Travis Kelce. Her relationship with him to them going to the Super Bowl, the conspiracy theories are wild. So wild. Like,
I feel like we could have like a show on that. Like our next one could revolve around that. Because we got 2 weeks till the Super Bowl. That'd be fun.
Dude, it is bizarre. Like, people are straight up asserting that Taylor Swift has something to do with their victory this year, which is really bonkers to me. The whole her being there at all is bonkers. Honestly, let's just say that. But yeah, just people are going wild with like some kind of like scripted narrative, like this is a scripted season of football and all kinds of crazy shit, man.
It's crazy because I have never been a believer or a subscriber that there's any way that it could be rigged or scripted. I don't believe that. But if you scroll TikTok long enough or any other thing, you will find videos showing the ref did this or the player didn't do this, like this obvious stuff where you're like, I can't explain that. And it all leads, or kind of points towards like them winning or helping them win. And you see enough of it and you're like, I don't believe in it, but I can't explain any of that. Like it definitely looks sussy,
Dude, reality is stranger than fiction, man. And I think people forget that. So when they see coincidences, because I really believe our reality is just repetitive coincidence. There's people need there to be a story. Like we are, I mean, we're in the Netflix age, right? Like everything is a story. You know what I mean? Like everyone is an influencer. Everyone is, a part of a story. They're telling a story. Everyone's the main character. Everybody needs something to fall in line in some kind of story. And even I feel like people who enjoy pro sports at large are probably no different. Like they see craziness. They see something that's like, oh, the ref did something that's just, I don't know, he blinked his eye weird.
Sure.
Then suddenly, Taylor Swift is like the Illuminati and she's carrying the Kansas City Chiefs all the way to the Super Bowl because she wills it. It's fucking bonkers to me, man. I don't know.
So you're not a believer. I couldn't tell which way you were going when you were setting that up.
Oh, I'm not at all. No. I think conspiracy theories make me angry. Like they're really, I don't know. I probably will get dragged over the coals for that, but I don't care. They're so stupid. And anytime anyone brings one up and wants to talk about it with me, the first thing I'm looking for is an exit. Are you? I mean, you're not a conspiracy theorist. I know that definitively.
No.
But is there any one where you're like, well, maybe 9/11 was an inside job or something?
No, I like them ironically, if that makes sense. I find them fascinating and entertaining, and to kind of temporarily get sucked down that hole of like, maybe,
Could
and then
be? Yeah.
quickly you kind of come out and you're like, okay, there's no fucking way. But I do find them entertaining. I will listen to them. A lot of the stuff on my feed is like conspiracy shit. Just, I don't know. I guess it knows that I kind of find that stuff entertaining. I'm definitely not like a flat earther. I don't believe any of it, but I don't know. There's something about seeing something also who's so convicted in something that's like kind of proven to be untrue and watching them backbend and run, just flip circles trying to like explain it away and stuff like that. So I don't have the one really that I believe to be true, but they're fun. They're just stories to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's okay. Like if people like entertain them mildly, I guess I'm okay with it. But it's when people like find one, latch onto it, and start really trying to insist that it is the way that it is without any kind of like real data to show me that it's
sure.
Like it's plausible, then it's like, all right, fuck off, man. I don't really care. That's just me.
Was there one shooter for JFK or was there multiple?
I don't know and I don't care. No, the big ones, right? Like people talking about like 9/11 and COVID and all this stuff. Do I think that stuff is straight up cut and dry? No. But do I want to sit around and imagine all the horrible actual truths? Not really, man. Because A, I can't really influence shit that's already happened. And B, I'm not necessarily putting money in the pocket of anyone by saying like, maybe it happened, but I don't want to talk about it, I guess.
That's kind of the other thing too, is like, I don't really want, like, not only do I not believe them, I don't want to, because what kind of existence or constant like mindset is that to think that like the darkest stuff is actually happening? Maybe it is. I don't know, but I don't want to exist.
There's almost there's almost no conspiracy theories that point to something good or like, hey, there's a, the Washington Monument is filled with ice cream. Like, there's no good, there's no like good little treat conspiracy theories. They're all
it's all negative and dark.
The government's
and
trying to kill you and put a chip in your brain, and I don't know, Taylor Swift is controlling the Super Bowl.
What about the 10-foot aliens in Miami? Have you heard of that?
What? Did you make that off the cuff? Is that real?
No, I've been seeing random videos pop up where there's like supposedly like 10-foot aliens in Miami and shit's going down or something.
Really?
Yeah.
No way. No, I don't know anything about that. I do. Hang on. The 10-foot aliens. My signal might get kind of bad. My computer sucks doing like multiple web pages. 10-foot aliens in Miami. Why, like, specifically 10 feet?
That's what I heard.
10-foot alien Miami. Here we go. I don't know. It's too easy in my mind for someone to just come up with a costume that looks way too real and like not quite cross the uncanny valley and look like an alien. I don't know. It probably just was some over eager like 3D printer is like, I'm gonna make people think aliens are here.
Oh man, that was fun. Conspiracy talk. I didn't think we were gonna have that today.
Yeah, off the cuff. Hey, that's probably gonna do it for this week. We're gonna skip mail this week. I've got my last week here. I'm gonna travel back next weekend, and then we'll be back in business, baby. We'll be back to regularly scheduled programming. We've got some fun episodes up close in the same room coming up. Really excited for that. That's going to be fun. But, hey, stick with us, man. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate everyone who's been writing in, following, enjoying our short-form content. It means a lot. I've got some more really fun stuff cooking. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So
stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
You never know what's around the corner.
You don't want to miss that big big breaking Hardpoint episode. Might be the one that you miss, You don't
want that.
Don't want that. Hey, I want to say thank you again. My name is Josh.
My name is Cody.
And we hope that you are Baja blessed.
And I hope that you've enjoyed listening me talk to my microphone. I did it right this time.
Everyone gets a goof. Everyone gets a free goof. We've used up all our goofs. Between me and him, there's no more goof cards. All right, hey.
We're now at 12 and 13. There's no more excuses for either of us, honestly. Moving forward.
Yeah. We are the training wheels are off. We're through the probationary period. All right, hey. Thanks for popping in. We'll see you on the flippy.
See ya.